Yeah, listener, absolutely I can. I mean, I talked a little bit about Peyton Talbot at the end of that video, but you're right. It deserves its own video because it's really its own subject. That's why it's hard talking about a card in a vacuum with three fights at once. So Peyton Talbot is to me the epitome of fighting. Guys, honestly, the fight game, whether you're talking MMA, whether you're talking boxing, is all about matching. And it's about matching, and of course, matching means timing, right? When you put someone in with someone else. Now, what happens is these individuals come along that capture the public's fascination for whatever reason. I mean, I think an early one in MMA that we all remember was Sage Northcutt. So Sage Northcutt was 18. He's the beautiful blonde haired, Aryan looking child that everybody thinks of as, getting all the girls in high school and having the future that everybody wants. Well, Sage Northcutt turned out to be a bust. However they moved him, it didn't work out. And then he got weight problems as he actually went into maturity. In some alternative way, Peyton Talbot was a modern version of Sage Northcutt. And, the funny part for an old guy like me is, when Peyton Talbot came on, people started screaming about him and asking me, and I had no idea who he was, right? That's how quickly these guys come on the scene. And I remember another one, Sugar Sean O'Malley. I remember watching him in prison in Taft, California. And of course, this jerk off named Bruce Dahl, who was in prison with me, he was a Vegas guy, hang around with all the Vegas mobsters, started claiming that like he knew exactly who he was. Well, Bruce didn't know who Sugar Sean O'Malley was. He just wanted to be associated with this guy with immense charisma and, star power and appeal. Now, what happens to these guys? If you match them right, they develop. And eventually they turn all that potential into reality. But does it always happen? Obviously not. We talked about Sage. What happened to Peyton Talbot there is, something about MMA, and this is just a fact. And it's one of the reasons I never started fighting MMA was my jiu-jitsu and ground game was so bad compared to my stand-up. Even though my stand-up was better than most of the UFC fighters that I sparred with, I knew that all they're going to do is take me down and sit on me. And indeed, in the first couple sparring sessions we had, that's exactly what they did. And if you don't know how to deal with that, if you can't get out of that, you're going to wind up just being ground and pound out, or as they used to call it, lay and pray, which is really a grappler taking you down and sitting on you. But listen, man, all stars are like this. Mike Tyson is a prime example. They matched him with, 18 bums before they took a risk on Quick Tillis, and they almost lost, and then they ran back and started matching again. The fight game really, guys, is very structured, and it's very about timing. They create careers, and then careers get destroyed out of that. I remember Jerry Cooney felt like he was lied to and felt like he was protected, when I don't really think that's the case. Jerry Cooney knocked out Ken Norton, a guy who Muhammad Ali really couldn't beat, a guy who Larry Holmes said was the best fighter he'd ever fought. And, Jerry Cooney knocked him out in 2 rounds. Cooney had all that, but he lacked belief in himself because of the Great White Hope trade. So fighting is so mental. It can be really hard for these young stars. You think they don't know they're being put over? They know. Sugar Shane O'Malley, I remember in his fight with Peter Yan, and he was keeping pace with Yan. He was doing really well. And his corner said, "You deserve to be here, see?" It seems like an odd conversation, almost like O'Malley knows he really didn't deserve to be there, and he was given those breaks. And he certainly didn't deserve that decision, but look what he did. He went on to win the title, knocking out Aljamain Sterling, and, promise fulfilled. Forget the fact he couldn't beat Davashvili. Probably nobody at that weight class can beat Davashvili right now. But yeah, man, I mean, I think what it is with human beings is youth excites us. The promise of a bright future excites us. And that's why we cling to these stars. And if they have guys behind them that move them right, you can get them to where they're going to go. But it doesn't always work out. Read my book, Warrior of the